You know how some evenings are perfect? The kind where you're just lounging on the couch, binge watching something, and wondering if you'll ever fold that pile of laundry? Yeah, Bolano's Last Evenings on Earth is nothing like that. Instead, these are the evenings where your dad decides it's a good idea to take you to Acapulco. But instead of fun and relaxation, you spend the whole time quietly bracing for some cosmic disaster. This book is 19 short stories of Chilean exiles, failed writers, depression, weird encounters, and paranoia, all served with Bolano's signature blend of deadpan humor and heartbreak. It's the kind of book that makes you laugh nervously while you cry on the inside. Let's jump into these stories because, trust me, there's plenty of drama here. The 19 stories in Last Evenings on Earth take us across Mexico, Spain, the United States, and sometimes briefly back to Chile. These aren't stories of grand adventures or victories. Nope, they're about being stuck. Stuck in exile, stuck as a failed writer, stuck in your own head, and somehow Bolano makes this all fascinating. The collection starts with Sensini. Our narrator enters a short story competition and lands in fourth place. Fourth, if there's anything worse than losing, it's losing while being painfully aware that the third place winner was way better than the first and second. Imagine running a marathon, coming in fourth, and then realizing the winner probably cheated with roller skates. That's the vibe. Through this fiasco, the narrator meets Sensini, an older writer living in exile. Their friendship, built through letters, becomes a window into Sensini's life, his loneliness, his desire to return to Chile, and the haunting absence of his son, presumed dead. Sensini also shares tips on surviving as a writer, like entering competitions as if your rent depends on it. Spoiler, it does. It's bittersweet but also strangely warm, like two misfits finding each other in the chaos. Next is Henry Simon LePrince, which is basically a masterclass in failing with style. Henry is from the lower middle class and has pretty much flopped at everything. He wants to be a great writer, but instead ends up producing knockoff versions of real literature for cheap tabloids. Think of him as the literary equivalent of great value cereal. It's sort of the same, but everyone knows it's not the real thing. Even during World War II, when Henry risked his life to help prominent writers, he never got recognition. He's the guy who saves the party but still gets asked to take out the trash. Then we meet Enrique Martin, a failed poet who tries switching gears to science fiction, but it doesn't save him. The depression that follows leads him to suicide. Reading this story is like watching someone try to climb out of quicksand with the wrong tools. Bolano doesn't romanticize failure. He shows you its raw, crushing weight. Ah, a literary adventure. This one might be my favorite. We meet B, a lesser-known writer who parodies a famous author, A. Now B expects fireworks. Maybe a scathing response, maybe a literary duel. Instead, A praises the parody, praises it. Imagine roasting someone on Twitter and they reply with, "Wow, this is genius." Instant confusion. B doesn't know what to do. Is A mocking him? Is A secretly flattered? And when B writes his second book, A reviews it before it's even released. B spirals into paranoia, and honestly, I'd be right there with him. Bolano perfectly captures the insecure, slightly neurotic mind of a writer who just wanted some drama but instead got compliments. Now let's talk Anne Anne Moore. This story is different. It's not about Chilean exiles or struggling writers. Instead, we follow Anne, a young woman living a wild bohemian life in Spain. She's all promise at first. Imagine the cool, artsy girl who seems like she's going places. But slowly, she starts to lose herself. Anne's life is a mix of Epicurean indulgence, questionable choices, and brushes with Spanish literary circles. It's messy, it's beautiful, and it's a sharp reminder that sometimes the most dangerous exile is from your own potential. Dance Card feels personal, almost autobiographical. The narrator is arrested by government forces, but by sheer luck, is rescued by old classmates. He's not tortured, but he hears the screams of others. This story sticks with you. It's a quiet, haunting reminder of what political violence does to people, and how survival can sometimes feel like guilt disguised as luck. The title story, Last Evenings on Earth, is where Bolano sneaks in that strange, eerie tension he's so good at. A father and son, B the son, go on a vacation to Acapulco. The father, a former boxer in exile, is surprisingly at ease. The son? He's stiff, cautious, like he's waiting for the universe to drop an anvil on their heads. It's a story about the unspoken, about how freedom and fear often walk hand in hand. There's more darkness, y'all. Days of 1978, where an exiled man commits suicide. Then there's Mauricio, folks call him the Eye, where a traveler discovers boys being castrated and sacrificed to gods. And let me tell you, that story is just as unsettling as it sounds. There's Gomez Palacio, where a writer takes a lonely teaching gig out in rural Mexico. And The Grub, featuring a boy who skips school to read in a park and ends up befriending this strange, daydreaming man. Each story feels like peeking into a room where someone's life is quietly falling apart. Reading these stories back to back is like attending the world's saddest party. Everyone's got a drink, but it's all just watered-down regret. You know it's good literature when even the jokes feel like they're holding back tears. So, the book I've been talking about is Roberto Bolano's Last Evenings on Earth, published in 1997 and translated by Chris Andrews in 2006. It's just 219 pages long, but honestly, it feels as rich as a 600-page novel because every story is soaked in tension, loss, and quiet brilliance. Bolano isn't here to give you fast-paced, plot-heavy stories. Instead, he writes about moods and moments. His characters, mostly exiled Chilean writers, are caught in a constant struggle between past trauma and present despair. He also experiments with form. Many characters are referred to only by letters like Mr. B, and you can almost see Bolano winking from the shadows. The first-person narrative dominates, which makes every story feel like a whispered confession. And the present tense writing gives you this weird live stream effect, like you're witnessing the characters' inner storms in real time. The big theme here is impotence, not the medical kind, but the inability to change anything. The characters can't change their political realities, their personal failures, or even their own destructive habits. They're stuck. There's also a critique of the literary world. Bolano doesn't romanticize writers. He shows us their pettiness, their desperation, their failed careers. But somehow, he makes their struggles feel universal. Political trauma is another undercurrent. These stories happen in the shadow of Pinochet's regime. The arrests, the torture, the exiles. Even when politics isn't mentioned, you feel its weight. What I love about this collection is Bolano's clarity. The writing is sharp, elegant, and painfully honest. Chris Andrews' translation deserves credit too. He captures Bolano's voice perfectly, making every line feel like it's cutting straight to the bone. My thoughts? This isn't a fun read, but it's a necessary one. Bolano isn't interested in easy answers or neat resolutions. He's showing us life as it is, messy, unfinished, and painfully real. If you're looking for stories that sit in your mind long after you've read them, stories that explore exile, failure, and the quiet courage of survival, Last Evenings on Earth is the book for you. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're interested in diving deeper into this book, I've left some links down in the description. You can use it to grab yourself a copy and keep the adventure going. And if you're in the mood for more great reads, don't go just yet. Click on one of the videos popping up right now that I think you'll love. And don't forget to give this review a like, leave a comment, or even subscribe if you'd like to see more. Every bit of support helps us grow this little community of book lovers. See you in the next one.